Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can easily make some virtual thank you cards. Right now we are in the middle of COVID and Teacher Appreciation Week is right around the corner. So this is a really great way to send some love to your teachers. This is also a really great way to show appreciation for a staff member who may not be in the school right now. Perhaps they're away on some sort of leave and you just want to recognize them. So let me walk you through pretty straightforward step-by-step process that I use to create virtual thank you cards for staff and teachers. So first thing you're going to need to do is gather some words. What I have done here, you've got a couple options. If you work in an elementary school or primary school and you've got younger kids, you can certainly interview kids to ask them words about teachers and what they appreciate about them. I work in secondary school, and so we're pretty familiar with Google Forms. Kids use them all the time, and so that's a process that I'm going to use today to gather some words about our staff. And ultimately, I'm going to take student responses and plug them into a graphic to thank teachers and communicate to teachers how kids feel about them. So what I've done here is just created a really straightforward Google form, given students the instructions here. So take a moment, share some kind words about the teachers you know and appreciate below. And then just to prompt their minds, I've given them a couple of examples here. So they could either list out some words or even just one word, or they could say a phrase. Thank you for always giving me tips to improve my writing. Now, if you work in a comprehensive, larger school that has several staff members, it can take a little bit of time to get this guy built, as well as to actually create the virtual cards. And so I'm a huge fan of training secretaries and other staff members on how to use not only Google Forms, but Canva, which I'll show you here in just a moment. So it's a little bit time consuming, but I promise teachers will feel inspired to print these out, and kids will really feel valued in you capturing their opinions. So what I did here is in this Google form, just wrote each teacher's name as well as a short answer text. You could also change this to be paragraph if you would rather have people write longer pieces, but short answer works here. And I'm not requiring anybody. So in my school, I have 45 teachers, and ultimately I'm not expecting every kid to opt in to give me a phrase about everybody. So I'm not requiring this. I'm leaving that untoggled. And, you know, we'll hope that there's at least 5 to 10 words for each staff member, because that'll give us plenty to work with. And so that's it. I've constructed my form here. Like I said, this could be broken down in departments. You could break it down by grade level if you'd like, however you want to do it. But ultimately, this could be long, could be short, depending on the size of your school. And then you'll just go ahead and send this out. What I like to do is, rather than plug in emails here, I like to just create a link. Now, because I'm working with students, I am going to collect their email addresses because I think there's a little extra accountability to say kind things and not feel like we are anonymous and we can go rogue. And so what I'm going to do then is collect email addresses and then grab this link. I do like to shorten the link. And what I'll do is just copy and paste this link into an email to that grade level or to my entire student body and send that out. So here's what it looks like when you send it out. Somebody opens up the link and here's what they find, captures their email address, which is required here. And then this is where students get to enter in their feedback. So let's say this one is and then kids can just go ahead and submit. So we'll say, And that's it. So students can just submit their responses. They can put as much time or as little time into it as they want, but really what you're doing is you're just gathering some candid feedback from kids. So if I go back to the actual form, you'll notice that up here I have 3 students who have responded. So I can click on responses, and you can either see it all in here, which is fine. You could cut and paste this into the platform we're going to use. I really am a big fan here of using Google Sheets. And so if I click on Google Sheets, it'll give me the choice to either create a new spreadsheet or plug this into one that already exists. This is a new project, and so I'm going to create a new spreadsheet, which I've already done. I'm going to click on that. And what you'll see is that it has populated with a timestamp, as well as my teachers all the way across the top with this email account. So here's where I would be able to tell which student had submitted. I could ask for their name, however I want to do that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to we'll just talk about this one teacher for now. Well, this will be the one that we're going to use. So this is Mr. Engelman. The platform we're going to use today is one of my favorites. It's called Canva. I use Canva for everything. I use it for my social media calendar for principals. I use it in so many elements of my work as a school leader. So I'm a huge fan of Canva. Check out a link in my information down below if you want to know more. We're going to go over to Canva. Canva is free for teachers. There's a lot that you can do with the free version of Canva. I actually pay for the pro version because there's just infinitely more options available. It makes it pretty slick to use. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create a design. You can pull from any one of these ready-made sizes. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to just create an 8.5 by 11 page by choosing inches. That's a pretty standard size, and I'm going to pretend that perhaps one of these teachers is so excited by what they've got, they're going to print it out and frame it. So we're going to create the design. Pretty slick in Canva. Your entire toolbar that you're going to need is over here on the left. You could certainly pick from a template if you see something that you want to use to start from. I'm going to use a white background and just the word thank you and Mr. Engelman in the middle. So what I'm going to do today is come down to elements. Like I said, the free version has a lot of great options. And so what I'm going to do is just type in thank you and choose one of these thank you shapes. What I'm looking for is something that has free on it when I hover over it. If it's got the little crown, that means that I need to pay for it. And you could do that. It costs you $1 to grab an image. Or if you're a member, if you've got the pro version, that comes with that. So I'm going to find something here. You know what? This kind of matches my school colors, so I'm going to throw this guy in the middle. Thank you. And then what I'm going to also do is add the teacher's name so that it really feels custom, because that's what I want, is I want it to feel personal. You can see I've got centering bars that show up when I drag something around. So what I'm going to do over here is in my toolbar, click on text. And you can pick either one of these 3 to add a text. Really, it's just the initial size. You can change anything up, so you're not married to any size when you click on something. I like to start with the big one just so I can see it. So I'm going to add Mr. Engelman, and I want it to be a little bit smaller than that. And I'm going to center it here. That pink bar shows me I'm centered. I don't really like that font though, so I have a separate video where you can see my Canva font cheat sheet. I definitely recommend that you create one for yourself so that you can easily get to the fonts that you love. For today, I'm going to use one that I use and know very much. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. And then what I can do is I can change the size of this. I can change it orientation, centered, justified, where I want it. Right now, though, I'm going to change its color. I want it to match this a little bit better. So up here, I'm going to click on text color, and I'm going to go with this dark blue. And that will work for my purposes today. These are my school colors. So next what I'm going to do is go back to my Google Sheet where I had all those words about Mr. Engelman. And all I'm going to do is highlight these, right click, copy, or you can go to edit, copy if that's easier for you, and then go back to your board and then right click, paste. I'm going to allow that. in this instance here, so you're just going to paste. I'm going to use my toolbar to do that. And so notice that all the words, they're a mess right now, but they showed up here. So it's just a really easy way to transport all that information in. Now what I want to do is I want to create these in separate little text boxes so that I can change the font, change the color, and make them creative. So what I'm going to do is add another text box, and I'm going to cut each word out and paste it into this new one. So what I'm basically doing is making separate text boxes with each of these messages. And I can orient them by twisting it a little bit. I can change the font. So let's say I want a typewriter font. I can do that. Let's say I want to make this one red just to make it stand out and pop a little bit. Then I'm going to move on to my next one. This one's a little bit longer. Student thinks that this guy tells the funniest jokes. It's important for teachers to know that they're funny. So I'm going to go back and add another text box. Move this guy down and paste it in there. Now I want this to be a little bit smaller because it's pretty darn big. So I can adjust by dragging on the corners. I'm going to change this font to, I can either highlight the whole thing or just highlight the box. And we're going to change this to I don't like how this is spaced so far apart, so you can actually come up to spacing in Canva. You can either adjust how closely or how far away the letters are. Another really cool feature though is you can make your lines be closer together, so that's a really handy little tool that you can use. And then I'm going to drag this to a different spot, orient it a little bit, and change its color, make it pop. And what you can see here is that over time, you can actually create a pretty fun little montage for teachers that they're going to love and something that they could cherish for years to come. If you really wanted to, you could even add the date so that teachers can have this as a commemoration if they'd like to keep it for the long haul. Let's do a handwriting one here. I want this to be a little bit smaller so it's all in one line, so I can just adjust. I'm going to delete this for the sake of time here. And you can see that this really comes together over time. Like I said, this can feel a little bit time consuming as you're clicking through, and that's why I think it's great to have some secretaries give you a hand. It's a great little project to put together. And like I said, let me do one more thing. I do want to add the date just as a commemoration. So especially right now in COVID, we're going to call this spring 2020. We are going to send one of these to every single one of our teachers at our high school as a teacher appreciation activity. We typically do something every day for our teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week. And so this will be something that we will send out to each of them in their inboxes. And the way we'll do that is this. Come up over here to the right-hand corner. There's this little download arrow here, and that's what we're going to do is we're going to download this, and I'm going to download it as a PDF print because I want high quality. The other option is if you want to have it be something that you could post on your social media, you could choose a PNG, which is a high quality image. Those are great too, but we're going to print. And so I'm going to click on that, download, and then just ship that off to my teachers. So I hope that you found this to be very helpful today. If you appreciated the tutorial, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for stopping by.